across your face. The wind blows when I'm falling. The wind blows across your face. The wind blows when I'm falling. The wind blows across your face. The wind blows when I'm falling.
A fresh out of the oven into that. Isn't that wonderful? How does that feel vulnerability wise to debut something so fresh? What were the feelings that were going through as you were playing?
A little bit embarrassed. Some embarrassment. Some I noticed right when I started playing, instead of jumping into singing it, I hummed it because I wasn't super sure of myself, because this is way out of my range, out of my normal singing range. But that was part of the exercise for me, was to get outside of that that range. And then just feeling kind of naked.
Yes.
Like I'm just, like I forgot. It's like when I've had those dreams where I show up to work and sometimes it deja vu's when I'm not dreaming, and I'm like, oh shit, oh, okay, I'm wearing pants, we're good, we're good.
Exactly.
So it's that pit in my stomach feeling of like, this is very unpolished, unfinished, but I'm just...
It's the raw stuff. It's the rough draft sketch.
Yeah.
It's what we're doing first draft, as we would have any script or any comedy material or any. I get exactly what you're feeling.
I also feel a need to explain myself, which is like very knee-jerk reaction.
Oh yeah, me too.
About to share something, I want to be like, I want to frame your experience so that you can see it just like me.
Yes.
And be self-conscious and all those things.
And don't judge me. And please withhold and have much less judgment, because this isn't my finest work, but it is just what we're doing.
Yeah.
How much of my time I spend in my life attempting to manage other people's, something I cannot do, something that is impossible. Doesn't mean I don't try. I keep doing it, but it is not possible to manage other people's realities, and yet I will continue to do that. And being at 70 this year, Rigel, I'm noticing that I now have an energy budget. I didn't so much have an energy budget in my 30s, 40s, 50s, because I had enough at the end to still be creative. But now I'm noticing that I have a very clear energy budget. I probably had it even then, but I just wasn't sensitive enough to notice it.
Yeah.
But in my energy budget, I only have so much energy to focus upon. And if I spend that in the same way that I would spend my monetary budget, if I spend that on attempting to manage your expectations of how I'm coming across, I don't have it. My bank account is empty, or I am overdrawn. And when I am overdrawn, I don't bring that much to it.
Yeah. And what this makes me think of is the word vulnerability.
Yes.
And this is like practicing vulnerability rather than being vulnerable by myself alone, and then reframing it for everyone as like, here's a learning experience for you.
real
After,
time
yeah.
to see. And what a beautiful piece. This is one of the things that I love about learning, is that it's like with parents. The children, back when I was growing up, parents would, if they had a fight, they would go off to the bedroom, or there would be something like that. Then they would go off to the bedroom and they would work through it and they would make up and they would come out and everything would be fine. Well, then the children never got a chance to experience what it was like to go through the process of negotiating, healing, figuring out, and then doing. To the kids, it just appeared like magic. So there was no practice. There was no opportunity to demonstrate it. Well, this, what you're demonstrating for me and for all of us here in the audience, is you're demonstrating your vulnerability. You're demonstrating, here it is, not the final performance, lights, camera, action. You're demonstrating, here it is at the early rough stage as to what's going on.
Yeah. Yes.
What courage. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your unending exuberance for encouragement.
My pleasure. It is my joy to encourage the creative process, those few staggering steps. I use the metaphor in my mind of when the first time, like the very first time that your son first began walking, taking those few staggering steps, you didn't withhold the encouragement until he marched across a couple of staggering steps, fall on his butt. Great, work on that.
Yeah.
That to me is the process of creativity. If we can encourage the first staggering steps, nurture and support at that point, that's when I need it.
Yeah.
And if I can offer it to you at that same place, then it allows us to get the confidence to take those next steps, to get up off our butts and give it another shot.
Yeah. Yes. And that brings me to my excitement about 100 Days of Songwriting, which is about to start tomorrow.
All right.
So
tomorrow, which is June 1st, 2018. All right. So that we
lock it down.
All
lock
right,
it down. And I've had some interesting revelations in the last few days about the 100 Days of Songwriting, and just how it ties into everything that I'm doing and maybe some potential in the future. And I was listening to a podcast yesterday about creativity. Is one of my favorite guys. Creative Pep Talk, Andy J. Pizza, Creative Pep Talk.
Great.
And he's talking about how in business, businesses have to solve a problem.
Yes.
Otherwise they can't exist.
True.
But creatives aren't exempt from that. But a lot of times we think we're exempt from that.
Act
maybe?
like it, pretend like it, talk like it.
Hide behind it.
Hide behind. Well said.
Yeah. And so what I've been thinking about this 100 days is with my own just desire to become a songwriter and my stepping out, being vulnerable and saying, hey, I want to learn how to do this with other people and I want us all to be vulnerable together. I've created this group that's now, it went from like 30 to 103 now. Probably 10% of those people will actually contribute. But it's like I've created a potential pool of problems to be solved. So you have like this group of people who are the 10%, which is probably like people who already have the confidence and the just the blissful ignorance and joy to just throw out their stuff and participate.
Yep.
And then there's everyone else who wants to participate. They signed up, something touched them with my little spiel, and they're like, yeah, I want to be part of that. But then they don't participate.
Can we use the dance metaphor?
Sure.
The first few people who get out on the dance floor, and then finally, you see the people on the side, they're tapping their toes, they want to get out there and dance.
Yeah. And so combine that reality with the fact that I just started watching, I signed up for this online course, like a cheap online course, on coaching. And I was just, I know that, I mean, you're like a coach.
Who wants to learn, who learns from
Yeah.
every other coach, who is so excited about learning from other coaches and coaching and the whole
Yeah.
process. Absolutely.
And I feel like this, I've like created the problem that I can also be a solution for, with inviting people to be vulnerable by being vulnerable myself,
You're on
and
your way.
then helping people who are in that 90% of the group who want to get to where I am. Not even where I am, just get out into the open. Just get into the
process.
open,
That's
into
right.
the vulnerability pool, and start exploring their own creativity publicly.
Yes.
Like I want to, when someone says, "Hey, I need help doing this," I can say, "I can help you, and I have a process and a system, and you can pay me, this much for a group setting, or this much for one-on-one, or something like that."
Beautiful.
Which also ties into my potential teaching. Like, so it could be sort of like a teaching, coaching.
Absolutely. Well, that's what you do.
Meditation,
Me.
yeah.
You are a creativity coach. You are coaching me in creativity, in unleashing this creativeness. You're doing it through walking the walk first.
Yeah.
I mean, how did any of the teachers that you and I respect, always, they are the ones who say, "Let me first show you." What? Be vulnerable? I'll be vulnerable. I'll show you my deepest fears, my deepest terrors, and I'll show you me stumbling and falling and doing that, because I know that's what it is. Every single teacher, even somebody like Jesus, right? Who sits there, who goes to his own hometown and falls flat. Nobody, no miracles.
Yeah.
Nobody listens to him. Everybody turns him away completely. Turns him away. So it's not just, I mean, but that's a demonstrated story. Here, let me show you when I bombed. When
Yeah.
it was, okay, then other times, let me demonstrate walking on the water. He didn't tell other people how to do it. He said, "All right, let me show you. Let me give you my lessons about what we're doing." I mean, that's what's so cool about what you're doing.
Yeah, and so it's like the nexus
Yep.
is in the record button
Yeah.
before I stumble. And so, that's what I really
How
appreciate about
wonderful.
this, you encouraging us recording our stuff.
Yep.
And I've gotten in the habit of it with my own album project. I
Oh,
just
yeah.
like bring the freaking camera, and Eddie's like, "Okay, here we are.
That's
just
right.
hit record," and it gets everything, all the hairs.
I really like that. I really like those 3 words. Just hit record.
Yeah, just hit
That is
record.
that is a great piece for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, just hit record.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
I mean, that is, all right. So your creativity and you can then use, because what you're teaching is creativity across the spectrum. Music happens to be one of the ways you're demonstrating it, but every single writer that I know, every single business person that I know, to be comfortable with the creative process.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe this, give this a shot, let's try this, oops, didn't work, oh, that worked, oh, now what next? That's everything you teach. And I know nothing that is excluded from that process.
Yeah. So,
That is very exciting, Rigel. That is a really exciting evolution of where you are, and what you're bringing to the world. This is so much bigger. This is great. This is very exciting.
Yeah. And I feel like this this has just emerged in the last few, I mean, it's been emerging since I've known you, for sure.
Yep.
And I think that's why we gravitated towards each other. But it's like now opening doors in my mind for what's possible, and because I didn't think like who the hell would be coached by someone who doesn't know what the hell they're talking about.
Yep.
All those voices in my head, it's just like an audience, just slow clapping everything. Oh, good, Rigel. Yeah, people are really gonna care. Oh, yeah. So,
Love it.
and I brought this idea up in therapy, and I was just like who would want to take a lesson from me? And you're just like, because you know more than them, and that's it.
And one of the great ways is that you have gone out and trod the paths. You've plowed the fields. You've actually worked it. So that is the lovely part of it. I've watched you do, how many 100 days have you done?
This is the third one.
That's what I mean. You have not only you have done this, but you have demonstrated that this practice. How long have you been working in this, studying the field of creativity?
Yeah.
You go to classes at podcasts nearly every day.
Oh yeah.
You study it, you read about it, you practice it. You have done your 10,000 hours in the creative process. You have done this. You are an expert in the field of creativity. Listen, by the work that you have done, you have gone to Hamburg and played and learned your licks and seen the audio and worked it back and sent it out in front of people and gone out and played concerts and come back and learned and grown, worked with the development, stood in the studio, put out a CD, put out all that work. You are an expert in the process of creativity. Stay out of the results of creativity.
But I need the piece of paper that says I'm qualified.
Exactly.
That's how I
Exactly. Precisely.
But I'll never get the piece of paper. I
Never.
I passed up that chance.
But even if you had the piece of paper, let me ask you, all your skills, but you have a piece of paper. Isn't that what the Wizard of Oz was all about?
Break that down again for me.
The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
They all go to the Cowardly Lion. He needed a medal. The Tin Man, he needed that piece of paper to say. I mean, the Scarecrow, I mean, needed the piece of paper, and the Tin Man, I mean, this needed a heart, needed something.
Yeah.
Needed that was all. They had it.
Yeah.
But all, and then the Scarecrow, needed that piece of paper to say that he was smart. So he could then do the Pythagorean theorem and all. That was all. That was the great metaphor there.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's like the idea that I need like an authoritarian, a god outside of me to give me authority, when it's just in me the whole time.
Yep.
Which is kind of where I'm at in my Wizard of Oz journey.
So what feelings would you allow yourself to have if you had that piece of paper that you are blocking yourself from having?
I don't know if they would be good feelings necessarily, or productive feelings. I think that I like the first feeling that comes to me is kind of like a condescending, like, well, now I'm justified in judging you.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
That's the first thing that comes to me. But
We have to welcome those. We have to welcome those feelings too. That because they're not to be dismissed. They're to be brought out into the open.
Brought into the open.
Because I am a snob. I don't like to admit it, but I have a lot of snobbery about me. I have a lot of, I have snobbery that, I mean, for Mr. Self-Acceptance, Mr. Oh, I love the world and everyone is equal. I'm a snob. I still have this. I judge people. I judge on hierarchy. I do all the things that I wish I did, you know, that I claim to abhor or claim to feel are unconstructive are parts of my personality. They just are. Yeah. Well, I'm going to deal with them. I'm going to sit and bring them out.
Yeah. I want to get back to the emotion that you asked me because while you're talking, I was thinking about what a piece of paper does for me is it says that I have systems in place that I can rely on. And there's a comfort and a confidence and a process.
Right.
And so, but that, a piece of paper can mean that, or it can just mean that I drank and goofed off in class all whatever.
Yeah.
So I want that. I want the process and some stable footing that I can launch from in whatever I end up pursuing, whether it's with actually just teaching piano or music or in coaching or a combination of the two.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I'm...
And.
Yeah. I'm exploring that.
Exactly. And that's a great place to explore. That's a great place to search out, just like you're looking, and that's what exploring is about. Is that we don't know when we explore, we do not know what we're going to find. When I know what I'm looking for, I will miss everything that is around me that could be incredibly valuable because I have already limited my sight to what I'm looking for. I cannot tell you the amount of times when things that I'm looking for, I have no idea what it was, but it was right there. And when all I did was just broaden my sight, and suddenly I went, ooh, that's interesting. And it was right there.
Yeah.
But I was so focused on finding that I didn't see what was right there. And that's a really important part about broadening.
Oop, that is our timer.
How wonderful! Now, that's a terrific part of the process. I love the creative process. I love like I'm feeling qualitatively different on show 4. This is show 4 than I did on show 1. I'm beginning to feel some rhythms of what, and I feel like that has to be, isn't it, when you have played with someone in some sessions, like 3 or 4 sessions, you begin to feel some of those rhythms and some, because we are purposefully doing in the studio with Rigel and Dennis shows 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're learning, we're building up.
Yeah. There's, it could be like dancing or being in a band or something like that.
Yeah,
for sure.
that's what I'm feeling here.
For sure.
Great. So, what music shall we use to close the show today? I'm one of the things that I love about this and that I want to continue to do is to have soundtracks and to be able to figure out what might be interesting to play and to play us out with.
Well, I was thinking as we were talking, I was trepidatiously thinking of being even more vulnerable in my playing out thing. And so what YouTube is like my university, basically.
Amen.
YouTube and classes that come up in advertisements that say
Yep.
$9.99 for this, and I'm like, oh, click. But one of these YouTube videos was talking about songwriting and trying, basically encouraging, like taking this one song idea and putting multiple spins on it, like playing it fast or playing it slow. So what I was thinking is taking this, which I played, pretty fast with a groove, and try playing it just totally different version. This is rough.
Good.
And I need to frame your experience so that you won't judge me.
You got it. All right. Play us out.
So I'm going to try to play something kind of slow.